analytics. So this is the kind of the ecosystem which we generate after combining all these different elements. And this is when we actually take it as a holistic view of all these processes. This is what exactly the data science is. Whatever we are performing with the data and whatever activities we are doing all comes in a data science. So data science is, it's something that people have started talking a lot in last couple of days, and as far as I remember from 2012 that it's been talked a lot. There is a new term which has been coined like data scientist, but we have been already doing this for over a period of time, and some of them, those who are part of industry, they have been using Excel for they've been using Excel for ever, like for years and years. But then the people have questioned that why now that we are talking so much about it when we have been using it for such a long time. So just to give you that, okay, so just to give you a clear hint on top with that, why we are talking about data science so much these days. There are different elements of data science as I talk about on the computer science part, on the visualization, on the mathematics part, and or for those specific fields, the specialists and scientists were already working on different theories to prove one. But what happened is after a period of time around 1960 and 70s that the computers become so popular that everybody wanted to execute their theories on computers as well, and they wanted to prove it that whatever they are trying to say on paper is actually works with machines as well. So over a period of time that when computer became so popular, there was a time when around 2000 that where the hard drives became cheap, and this was the time when this evolution started. People were able to store a very limited amount of data, but now what happened is after 2000 that they were able to save as much data as they wanted, and the logistic part was in control. So after 2000, you'll see that there are many companies, those who came into existence and became, multi-billionaire companies just because of they understood the fact, and they were the first one to react on this thing and could say that, okay, this is the direction where this industry is going, and we should use this data wisely to get some insights and run businesses as well. The first example which I'm going to talk about is Google. So Google is one of the companies that's those who come up with in 1998 when Laurie and Sergey decided that they have a page ranking algorithm and they can do something with it because many people are coming with their own websites. So how are we going to access them? Is there a way that people can come at one place and can find the information, whatever they are looking for on these websites, instead of going on different other websites? So they came up with the idea to actually rank each and every web page, and then if somebody is looking for a specific information, they can put it on their portal and then can look it across all the websites. So in 1998 this was not that popular. Like over a period of time in next 2-3 years it became so popular that Google became not just a company but it became a term in dictionary as well. So it's you can understand that what is the potential which they understood over a period of time, and then they used it here. But what exactly they did after that, not just they actually they were ranking the pages as well. After understanding the business model, they also realized that it's not just the web pages which they can do well with if they are getting data. They can also do well with the AdWords. So whatever information you see on your web pages, what sort of different advertisements which you put there, can we actually analyze that what sort of information you are looking on Google, and can we give you specific ads so that you can go ahead and buy it? You also have information about images, so that the images which you are putting on your websites or anywhere in the world, can we search all those information and images also? Later point in time I'll also talk about the current researchers and the things they have done with images and voice as well. They also have the prediction about these stocks. They also have they have Google Maps also, where they can their algorithms can predict that what is the shortest distance you can take to reach to a place. They also have their movie rankings. They have their voice search options these days. So this was over a period of time. You can understand a company journey from 1998 to 2015, that it became so big that now it is part of everybody's life in world, that somewhere or other we use any of the Google product these days. So this is the potential of data science that actually made a company 66 billionaire organization. But this is not just about Google, there were many companies those who came into existence and understood the fact that if they really wanted to do good, they can build business model around it. So there's one example I would like to state, that whenever you go online and when you find something, let's say that you're looking for a specific pair of shoes, you put it in Google, you actually go through the different websites, look at the prices, but close the browser because you were not impressed, or probably you are not getting the deal what you were looking for. But what happens it when you search other websites, it's suddenly that all the web banners and what the display ads you are seeing, it's all about these shoes, that people are offering you 20%, 30% discount. And then and in some days you all start getting emails as well that okay, that Flipkart or probably Snapdeal is giving you 20 or 30% discount on shoes. But how these guys know that you are only looking for shoes, not nothing else? So this is what exactly has been happening at the background. There have been engines that have been designed in such a way that they can cater to customer need. And then once you click on this particular ad, people have information what exactly you're looking for, and actually when you close your browser as well. So this was a revolutionary idea that let us serve the customer what they are looking for, and end of the day they end up buying as well because they were getting the discounts to what they were looking for, and we get the right segment of customers to target with. When you go on Facebook and when you search for any specific person, you get information about them. But if you have noticed that if you open any image, it already asks you when you capture an image or upload an image, it automatically gives you the option to tag your friends. It gives you the option to select them and gives you their faces as well, that where you can tag. It's so strange that how the computer know that this is your friend and this is the face of your friend. And on the other hand, you have friend suggestion also. They already know that who can be your friends and who will be interested to become your friends. So this is the kind of things that I'm talking about. The companies, those who understood the power of data and that what they can do along with this data and the different algorithms that we need to form on this. There's another example I would like to talk about, and this company has done exceptionally well in terms of selling online. In 1990s, after 1996, that Amazon is one of the companies those and their recommendation engine, which is it's very famous in the industry. When you buy something, they suggest you and recommend you that the other stuff which you can buy along with the product which you are buying. They not just suggest you that what you'll be interested to buy, but they also suggest you what your friends will be interested to buying if you really want to gift them something. If you have latest Google phone, Android phone, you can see that in your tiles. When you go actually look at not just the temperature, now it tells you the information or the news, what you may be interested into. Because it goes through with your all search results. It sees that what you're interested into these days. Do you like international news, stock news, sports news? Or probably gives you the only information which is relevant to you. And the best example which actually changed the way the people travel is to recommend you the flights, that there are many flights and there are many routes where the seats are empty. So the people came with the algorithm to figure it out that if a seat is empty, can I give you the multiple flight options so you get a cheap flight and they get their customers. So you can understand the power of data and then what people are doing in this current scenario with this data as well. Uh, so these are just the example of the companies globally what they have done. Definitely in Silicon Valley in California, that probably they are more than uh, I would say that 100,000 different small companies running in houses as well, just to cater the customer needs and coming with different ideas. But in India also, in from last 3 to 4 years, there is a new term which has been coined, and everybody's actually enthusiastic enough to try it, which is called startups. But what these startups are doing in India is it's also the same thing. They have also understood that how Silicon Valley has gained from this revolutionary idea of using data and then use it in such a way that you can create a business model out of it. So some of our companies have also built their own models and have done exceptionally well in that area as well. So one of the example which I'm going to talk about here is there are many companies on this chart which you will find very familiar and probably you interact with on your day-to-day basis as well. You use their services, but you probably would like to know what's their business model, how they are using your data, or probably the data they are generating out of your orders, or probably whatever services which you are taking from them. So the one thing I'm going to talk about is Flipkart. One of the I think I would say the one of the biggest retailer online firm that which is selling, I think, which is actually outnumbered the other big competitor, those who even have come with their international business model as well, but were not able to execute the way they have done it. So the Flipkart came up with the idea that if you really want to, woo your customers, you really need to get them things delivered within the time period. So if you have read the Flipkart reviews before, the people, those who are buying online, the first thing that impressed them a lot is that they were able to deliver within the time frame they committed. Even at times they've been getting things even before the Flipkart promised them to get it delivered. How they were doing this, what was their strategy behind this? And there is a simple model behind this entire concept, is that if your logistics, your supply chain is managed properly, your retail firms and probably the online business is actually can thrive on top of it. So Flipkart has its own internal logistic unit called eCart. So I'm sure next time when you get a anything from Flipkart, you probably noticed that whether it was external vendor or their own in-house logistic unit, eCart. And how they use this data is every time when you order something from Flipkart, they check that what is your location. And since pushing mobile behind this is that in India we have this huge issue, or probably I would say this, probably we do not have a systematic way to have a proper postal address where you can find the same name lanes in the city, duplicate names everywhere. And there are places like, if you go in the old cities, it's very hard to deliver products. It's not that easy to find an address. So how eCard guys can get it delivered within the time frame they have promised to the customer? So the first idea was that the normal parcel which they were delivering was around 16 to 17 parcel per person every day. But their aim was to deliver around 22 to 23 parcels every day to make it more efficient. But at the same time that the whatever time you have promised should be met. So Flipkart has now you know it very well. This Flipkart came up with their own machine learning algorithms to figure it out. Whenever you order something, what is your location, and if your address is not proper, because the kind of address which we fill in our for our delivery addresses as well, at times they are not that great and it's not easy to find as well. So they use the GPS technology to figure it out where you are ordering from. If your address is not correct, they can exactly see the around areas also where you're ordering from as well. So that is the reason, and now they have come up with the new philosophy that their automated warehouses will automatically figure it out. So there'll not be any sort of manual invention in between that the robots that can actually take the product from the shelf and can ship it to you as well, so that there is no human involved in the process. So they can even get it delivered and then meet the targets whatever they are doing right now, which is again kind of revolutionary thing for Indian customers, where they need not to go and then they can get it delivered without even paying extra money. So after listening to all this, I'm sure that most of you will be thinking that, okay, that this is something that we also want to make a career in data science. And probably I'm sure that some of you will be developers and some of you from the different backgrounds where you are using data on your day-to-day basis, and then you probably would like to see that how we can get into this industry, or probably if you're already are part of the industry, how we can make your skill set even better. So for that, before I start that, there's one thing I want to discuss with you guys is you might have seen different positions for a data analyst or data scientist position, and all these companies have different perception around the data scientist position as well. Some of them call it data analyst, some of them call it business intelligence engineer, some of them call it data engineers. So there is no big difference between these different positions. But what is important part is that what the job which you're gonna do. So the job which you're gonna do is more of around the data which you are getting. So as per the different business model, you have a data which will be coming. Let's say for manufacturing unit, you will be getting data from your factories, how much you're producing, how much raw material you have procured. For the online business firms, you must be getting data for your online behavior, probably the web users behavior, browser data. For the other firms, uh, let's say if you are part of the transport industries or probably the aviation industry, you'll be getting the different flights and how many passengers are flying through those different flights, and then what their preferences, what sort of routes they prefer to take, that sort of information. And whenever we get this data, the problem set or the business logic remain the same behind that. So irrespective of the industry you are serving to, it is important to understand your data. And then once you understand the data and you know that what sort of business problem you are trying to solve with this data remains the same. And then once you know the problem and how you can solve that problem, it become easy for you to follow. So I would say that there is no hard difference between, or probably I would say there's actually no difference between all these positions. It all matters that which part of the process you are and what you are doing. So before I talk about the ecosystem, I'm sure that you must be aware that to acquire this data, to actually get it clean and then implement anything on top of this data requires the hacking skills and some sort of knowledge on the data side as well, so that you understand that what sort of data you need. Because in our data sets or probably in our data warehouses, we get all sort of data. So the important part is to select the data what you need to solve a business problem, and then move ahead and then actually write a business logic on top of it. So if you, when we become part of this process flow where we are getting this data and doing any sort of analysis on this data, the important part is to understand your data. So select the data what you need, because in your warehouses you'll be getting all sort of data, maybe 10 fields, maybe 10,000 fields, and then you need to select that what all fields are required. And then once you get that data and then acquire that data, the second important part is to how to make it clean and then logical enough to inject this data into any sort of tool, or probably write any sort of logic on top of this data also. So these are the jobs. Probably you may find that the data analyst is also doing the same job, data scientist is also doing the same job in different organization, which really doesn't matter. End of the day, you are part of the process, the ecosystem, and then everybody is responsible for doing this sort of probably these sort of the processes and these sort of different requirements which you get it from your vendors or probably your business units as well. Once you are done with that, the important part is to build a model on top of it. This is the place where you realize that whatever model, whatever logic, or whatever system you have built, whether it is able to solve the business problem or the business issue what you are facing. And once you have that, and once you know that you have got all the information, then we need to evaluate that. We need to look at the real time scenarios and then evaluate it whether the whatever logic we have written it is applicable or not. Are we, if it's a prediction system, if we really want to predict, let's say that our inventories, if we want to predict our sales, so are we really able to meet that target? Are my predictions are accurate, or is there a variation? Can I go back? So if from this point onwards you need to go back and forth and check your model again, and then see that if any sort of changes are required in your model to meet or to get the precision in your model. And the last part is, this is also very important part in data science field, that how you visualize and how you put this data across your business units. Your probably the higher management will not be understand the figures in a raw form. So then how you visualize this data, how interactive this visualization is. And as per my experience over a period of time, that visualization has become very essential part for any sort of data analyst or data scientist job as well. People are coming with different tools and different methodologies, so just to show data. And it all matters on the face value. That more interactive it is, the better it has been perceived, and then people will definitely not just appreciate the model, but they also appreciate that how you can build a story in visualization to tell the what you are trying to solve. So again, as I spoke about the positions, it doesn't matter which particular job you are doing in this ecosystem. What all matters is that you are part of this system. So when you are actually looking at the different job descriptions, or probably the companies, uh, uh, the companies what they are looking in a candidate, you'll find that all these things are probably common, but the tools or the way they are doing may be different, and or the type of data which they are using can be different. uh, the one of the example that earlier I talk about machine learning a lot, but not just the logic or the algorithms is the only thing in data analyst or data science part. It's also important that if you can come up with the insights. So one of the insights, or probably it's a very famous story, that the Target or the Walmart have done these sort of studies, that when you place the different products on different shelf, how people consume, how people buy, what is their buying pattern? Is there a a pattern? Is there a difference between association when people actually picking up two products? So for an example, if you have a milk product which is being cost at 100 rupees, and the another product which has been cost at 120 rupees, which one people prefer to buy? Is there a logical to give them some sort of discount and they start buying a product which value more than what you have? So one of the study done by Target, and it's very famous in data science community, that they have done this, that they have placed the different products and they actually evaluate that how your buying pattern changes. So they place the diapers along with beers, and they just want to see that if you're buying diapers, that is there any chance that you'll buy the beer also? If you're buying beer, you are buying diapers also. The two products are completely different in nature, but to find all these relationship actually give them the kind of that experimental, or probably give them the background where they can again put things together and then push their sales as much as they can. uh, Apart from that also, in the same study they mentioned that the people, those who age between 30 to 40 years, around the same time when you probably have a baby, or you have a baby at your place, and then you shop between 5 to 7 a lot on Fridays. So these sort of trends, and in my career also, that we have done these sort of analysis before, that when there is a particular footfall in your retail store, where people would like to go, left or right, there is entire team who design all these shelves. In your next time when you go to supermarket, you'll observe this, that where they place their products, where actually for the products for kids they mostly place it at the bottom, and for the products for adults they place it on the either on the top shelf. Especially men products, they put it on a higher shelf. There is a science behind it, and whatever data they gather, they use this data to design all these shelves. So it's again, so wherever you go you can find it there. Everywhere the data science has been used, or probably data is being used to analyze and then uh, implement all these models in the business to push the sales, or probably do well in sales as well. uh, so we only spoke about the computer industry, we spoke about Google, we spoke about Facebook, or we spoke about Amazon. We also spoke about Target, but it's the data science is not just restricted, or it's not confined within this boundary. In every industry these days where data is being generated and an evaluation is required, data science or probably the data analyst are, it's one of the important job after finance and HR, to see them or to analyze the business models and to give them the insights also. So for the investment firms, for insurance companies, for banks, when you are buying something, when you're buying different plans, all the data which they get, along with your age, how much dependence you have, what is your risk level, what sort of industries you serve to, whatever information they get, when you're invest in mutual funds, or probably you invest in some uh, uh, other plans as well, they evaluate that how these plans are doing, and accordingly come up with the plan which is more suitable. So they customize their plans accordingly, which is essential. And the industries like stock market and investment firms are actually making a lot of money out of this. So they have their own algorithms to predict that which particular stock will do good as per their prediction, and where they can put their money. For the telecom industry, At the same time, the churn analysis. When you're not paying your bills, it's called outliers in data science community, that when a person is not paying their bill, or probably when they see that you are using your telephone a lot, or probably making a lot of international calls and making a lot of bill, which normally don't do it, there are high chances that you may disconnect that connection, or you'll not pay after using it that much. So that sort of analysis they have to keep in place to realize that which customers will not pay after a certain period of time, and when to bar their services, to not to actually burden themselves with the debts. Retail industry, as I spoke before, that the market basket analysis, whatever you are putting in your supermarket in your cart, it's been analyzed that which two products are going a lot together, which product and which size is being preferred. And in retail industry, earlier it was not possible to have a lot of information about customers. The only information which we used to get is the surveys which customers fill, and the membership cards which they have, so we can get information and associate the products and the customer information to get some insights. With this revolution where everyone is buying online, so the companies have your information as much as they can, and they can see that what you prefer and what is the normal the age group that which prefer this thing over the other one. Online marketing is, again, it's one of the industry which is supporting online retail, or everything which is running online, is that to show you the content what you will be interested into. So as I mentioned before, the kind of display ads which you get, the kind of promotional emails you get. These days, companies also have information at what time a email is supposed to be sent, so that it has high chances that it will be opened by you. So, and what all content you read in that email, whether you scroll down or not, or probably if you're reading that message on your mobile phone, that what is the exact time, or probably which time you prefer to read it. So let's say when you're traveling, if you're traveling in the public transport and then you prefer to read email at that time, so over a period of time they'll realize that this section only interested to read emails within this time period only. So they'll not send you emails between 1 to 4. They'll prefer to send you between 5 to 7, because they know there are high chances you'll open it. So again, online marketing is one of the industry which is coming and doing exceptionally well with data and these sort of insights. Manufacturing was already capturing this data, but there was no way to store each and everything before. And again, if you're not storing that data, it's not meaningful. You find it's not meaningful to store this much of data because of the logistics required. But now the storing technology or the hardware is so cheap that the companies are storing each and everything, whatever is possible, whether they utilize it or not, but they prefer to save it. It's enabled them to make their machines more productive, because they already know that when a particular machine may break down, considering its parts behavior, the kind of temperature it is producing, and the kind of parts also. So we have also done this project in my previous organization, where we actually figured it out that for a specific machine, which specific part we need to order beforehand. So considering its past behavior, so that we'll never let the production go down. Supply chain, as I spoke about Flipkart, it's not just Flipkart supply chain, and now there are only logistic companies with all these startups. Also, they have new logistic companies have also come in picture, that they only provide supply chain solutions. So if you have a startup, you open a startup, and probably you do not have that much of bandwidth to have your own supply chain, these companies, those who are utilizing this data, and then have built their own algorithms and system to predict that where to ship and how much to ship, they also have smart solutions to get it delivered within that time frame, whatever you have promised to the customer also. And again, the only limitation of thinking about a career in data science is it's just uh, it's all in your imagination, in terms of if you can imagine that every organization which is producing data require a person to handle this data and write some logic on top of it to get some insights. So this one this particular one slide cannot fill all that industries, but just to give you an overview that how much potential it has over a period of time. Uh, so after getting all that information, I'm sure that you guys will be interested that how I can start and probably which tool I should start with. So again, as I said before, it's a multi-billionaire industry right now as far as the tools are concerned for data science. There are many tools already available in market, but with these tools there are certain limitations. Not all these tools are great at everything whatever they do. So the one tool is very good at visualization, someone is very good at statistics, the other one gives you the flexibility to program in the simplest way. Some of them have really good machine learning packages or the features available already. Some of them only give you the flexibility or probably give you the some GUI modes or functions to analyze the text data only. For visualization, again, they are major companies, those who are only working on visualization part, not on the data analyst who are running any sort of algorithm on that data because they can't handle that. On the other side, we also have big data technology like Hadoop, Azure from Microsoft, that they are only working on the storage part or probably extract and inject data into the databases. So there's not one solution for this entire ecosystem, but the thing is that the best tool is which can provide you the maximum facilities or the maximum functions which you can see here. And over a period of time, what has happened is there were a lot of tool in market, but it all depends at how that tool has evolved over a period of time and how much people are supporting it and how much of them are using it and how much development has been done around that tool. So over a period of time, what has happened is that R has been a clear champion in this strategy because the first thing is that it's an open source tool, so probably companies and organizations are not bound to use it for a certain time period for which they have bought it. They can easily implement it, the kind of seamless integration facilities it provides with the systems also. It has a vast open source community which is developing package for this particular language. So it's not just that people are not dependent on company that when they will come with this functionality. It also gives you the flexibility that if you want to create something on your own which is very customized as per your need, you can create it on your own also as well. And then not to just keep it for yourself, you can actually use it as an open license, open distribution license, where you can share that package with some other companies or with anyone you would like to share. So that is paid tools because they have already invested in that area. So what they do is they look for alternative if they need something else. But if you read this chart, you can see as a secondary tool also, the R is being used a lot. So that says that it not just because of the investment which they have put somewhere else, they are bound to use that tool, but they prefer R because of its functionality and ease of use. And then if you can see it, the occasional use also, it has, I think definitely, again, it outnumbers the other tools. And it shows that the individual users, those who are using for specific needs, are also using R. These are the kind of users, those who are using tools like Excel or probably SPSS, some other tools do a small function or a small analysis part. And what good about this is that they are also moving towards R. So now the entire community who is doing operations on different tools are also moving towards R. So it shows that not just on the enterprise level, on the individual level also, the R is performing exceptionally well. Now the question comes that even if the R is so popular, uh, with the current technology and when we have this boom of big data technologies, when everybody is talking about big data, can I integrate R? Can I do all these operations? Since this is open source, probably I may not get that many of features or that many flexibilities to integrate this tool with the other big data technologies. But now the companies have also experimented with that, and now from last 2 years they have come with the R enterprise versions as well, where they give you the product in such a way that it can be easily integrated with the big data technologies. Now you can run your R from the Hadoop servers seamlessly. You can actually execute your operations, and now some of the companies are also doing their MapReduce functions, which is again there are other languages available for that to do with R, because they know that if you are very good with on the analysis part, can it be possible that you can do your MapReduce function also with R? So you really need not to learn many languages to handle your big data operation as well. So that's again one important thing for us is that instead of investing your time in different languages, it's always good that you learn one language which has been accepted at each and every level, and all these application layers where you can use it now. It's on most of the places now. That gives you that flexibility or that skill set that can be utilized anywhere if you're learning R. And as I mentioned before, any sort of data. So in big data technologies, all that matters is what is the format of your data and how you handle that data, and how much formatting you can do on top of that data. So now R with Hadoop gives you that flexibility as well. So now again, the question is, why should I learn R only? Or there are other languages. They can be you can learn Python, SPS, or some other tools also. Now, even after this, why should I learn R? There are scope in every other places as well. So what is so different in R? And if I'm not a developer, that is it hard to learn R? Or do I really need to learn a language to get into this? Then I would say that now this is also a good part of R. That even when you are a programmer, and even if you have coded before in C++, Java, or even Python as well, you'll find R far more easy to code. And on top of it, you have different GUI available. So people have created different APIs to work with R. So even if you do not know the coding, or if you really don't want to get into coding, you can just use the APIs and can do the operations what you are doing right now. So it's as easy as actually using Word or Excel. And even in Excel, you may need to write a formula, but in R, that there are operations that you can just need to inject your data and can get the output what you're looking for as well. They are good GUIs and APIs being developed, and probably the people, those who are taking course, will talk about this in depth when we get into more in R programming. So as I spoke before, also that it's widely popular. It's been used every year in most of the companies in some way or other. And in my next slide, I'm actually gonna talk about the kind of known companies. So these are the companies; those are quite known, and I'm sure that you must be aware about them on this slide. But this is not the number, or probably these are not just the companies those who are using it. Numbers probably most of the companies, those who are doing some sort of data operation is already using it, are in some way or other. But these are the popular companies, those are using R for their own for their own in-house operations. For like Bank of America, for doing reporting on their customer or the financial reporting as well, they are using R for the analysis purpose. Bing is using for its search awareness programs, where they see that the kind of searches which you are doing, that what sort of patterns or what kind of similarity it has. Facebook is using to analyze it, to do the text analysis on top of it on your status messages and whatever you put for the testing purpose. Ford is using for statistical analysis. Even on the other side, you can see that the Uber is using for its statistical analysis, and even Twitter is using for, again, the monitor the user experience and the text analysis as well. So, and the gaming industry is also using R for some sort of data analysis and customer users experience as well. The kind of log files which you get out of your gaming sessions, they utilize and do text analysis on top of it. And Google is, again, the Google is one of the companies in the initial phase, those who are using R for their ROI and on on their advertising campaigns, to see that how many of them are actually clicking on the ad which they are publishing there on their website. So now the question comes at the kind of efforts which you are putting and the kind of returns you get if you learn R is that, as I mentioned before, that learning 10 different languages and investing 10 hours into those languages, it's better to learn one language which is spreading like anything and can give you the flexibility to do operation at most of the layer in your application. So again, that is one part where I would say that the R is definitely the first choice. On the other side, also the R is you really need not to get a license. You can, for an individual user also who can start practicing uh, R, or probably on your own comfort, that you can start using R and then can do the operations. You can select. There are a numerous number of data packages already available. With our libraries also, you get a lot of data that where you can experiment and then test that for a particular business set or the logic which you're writing. You really need not to get a license. You just need to install and start using it. And if you for a different part of the operations, like if you are in statistics, you can perform the statistics operations. If you are in machine learning, you can use different machine learning libraries. You really need not to write the logic. People have already written it there. It's open source. You just need to utilize the package or the library they have already written. So that is also important thing, that you need not to write the logic. You can just use whatever people have written. And the documentation part is also very good, that in our in few seconds we'll do a small demo to show you that how easy it is to use R. So we'll see that how it is how easy it is to actually get the package information or the help information if you really want to read about a certain package of the library also, and if you're looking something very specific. And again, as I mentioned before, uh, the visualization part, now you have uh, you can do your web development through R also. So they also have uh, earlier it used to be IPython. Now they also have one more element that gives you that functionality which you used to with IPython. So you can have your web page where you have written all your code and probably the logic, and then you whatever visualization which you are doing, you can also produce on the web page also. As I mentioned before, that the importance and the number of packages which are growing over a period of time, you can see in this chart that in around 2002 it used to be very small, but over a period of time the number of packages are increasing, and all these number of packages give you different functionality to perform. One single package can give you 10 different things to perform. So now you can understand that how many things and how many different uh, logics you can try with. So it's not just if if you're in statistics, if you're doing t-test or probably your z-score test. So you are not restricted to use it only the function which has been provided by Excel or some other company. And if you really don't, if you're doing logistic regression or linear regression, probably you're not impressed with the ideas, or probably you really want to experiment with different packages and different uh, logics as well within for those analysis, you can also do that. So it is kind of advantage where you're not restricted to use what is being written only for the application. Right now, the R packages, it has already crossed 5,000 in 2015. As per the latest report, it's around 6,000 packages. Those are available for the R, in the open source license agreement. So, as I mentioned before, that I'm just gonna give you a small demo that what all things you can do with the R. It's not going to be a full-fledged demo, just to show you that how easy it is to use R, and then what all you can do uh, with R. And if you have already installed R on your system, you can start using it. from now. All right. So here I am in Art Studio. This is after installing R. This is actually uh, it's a platform where you can use R with the GUI also. So if you are not familiar with programming, and if you really don't want to program anything, the what best can be for you is that you can just go in the packages. So it's so easy. If you have already used Python before, and then if you have noticed that in Python you really need to compile libraries, and then you need to install them, and most of the time when you have issues with libraries, then you need to resolve them on your own. Where on R, so this particular thing is so impressive that it works on uh, Linux, Mac, and Windows without any issue. And once you have IDE like the Art Studio, it's even easy to actually use this GUI to do any sort of operation. So let's say if you want to assign any value for any for any element, you just have to run this, and then on the right hand side you can see that that particular thing, like whatever element which you have declared, that you can see that which element, what is the value for that element, what is the type for that element. If you really don't want to do anything on the coding side, you can just import the data through the GUI options. Apart from that, you can also, if you really don't want to install packages through your command prompt, you can just come here and then can look for the package what you are looking for, and just check marking, and then you can just install them through this option. You also have other options to create or probably generate the plots as well, and then if you when the plot is being generated, you can export that plot, and then you can use it somewhere else also. So just to give you a small snapshot of how easy it is to do operation on R, and considering the different GUIs. So this is just the one ID. R Studio is just the one way to do this. There are other GUIs available. Through that, you really even need not to do this much as well. You can just browse your data, just import that data, and can do your operation, and then export the data as well. That we'll also talk about it, that once we the people, those who are taking course, that we'll once we get into the R programming. So yeah, so as I was saying, that it's very easy to use. You can easily do the functionalities, the basic functionalities, and the people coming with like the people those who are coming with the proper coding background will find it very easy. People coming with the background like Excel, we R also has functionalities that where you really need not to worry about writing code as well for some of the basic operations. Uh, so at the end, I just would like to talk about the course which Tech Canvas is offering. In this course, we gonna do a in-depth analysis about the different data sets available in current market scenarios and business units these days, and what sort of data we are expecting, and what sort of operations we are doing on that data in data science. There are different life cycle of data science projects, like as I spoke before, that acquiring or gathering the data, doing any sort of manipulation on that data, and then later writing logic on top of it, and followed by the R language introduction, and then R language concept, R language programming as well, then how to handle these data in R, how to manipulate, how to write algorithms or use the existing packages on this data. We'll also understand the basic analytics part in R, that how the kind of operations which you are already doing, like statistics operation in window in Excel, or probably in some other tools, that how you can do that with R as well, like the ANOVA or F test or T test, if you're already performing or if you are part of the industry which is doing that job. That will be part of the statistic part. We'll also be doing some sort of machine learning processing with R. So we will also get the exposure of the machine learning, like the clustering or probably regression models, and some sort of pattern detections, which you probably will like to do and which will be essential for you if you're part of the industry and somewhere or other you have to use it. We're gonna do a live project where you'll get a hands-on experience and you'll get a data set to perform and show the skill set which you have learned in this course. And definitely after that, I'm sure that you'll have a real-time feeling of the business, or probably the business issues which you get in your day-to-day basis if you're doing the same thing in your organization as well. So with this, I open this for the question and answers. If you have any questions related regarding like whatever I have presented today, or probably anything around data science, I'll encourage you to please go ahead and ask. Is anyone have any questions?
You can just unmute your mic and then you can ask questions. People who are not asking questions, can you please put your mic on mute?
I think we are getting something here on chat. Okay, great. So the one question which I got it from Sandeep is that he has a Java background. How can I comfort with that? Okay, great. If you already have a coding background, I would say that you will not, if you have already done coding in Java, then you'll find it, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, you'll find it somewhere between 5 or 4. Because it's very easy. They have kept this thing in their mind that it's not very much around the only the development, or probably only for the developers. It's the data analyst. Some of the data analysts will also use it in their day-to-day operations as well. And the important thing is, if you already have a Java background, I would say that it will help you to work on some certain libraries, like let's say the D3 library, which is already using JavaScript for visualization, and now to integrate those things with R as well. So I would say that this will be a kind of advantage for you to learn, and the things and the operations which you are doing in Java, you may not find it that hard to do it in R. You will find it quite easy to do it for the assignments and the using any sort of logic. But I would say that if you already have a coding background, just get the hands-on experience, just install R and just do some hands-on on it, and then you'll get to know yourself that how easy it is to work with R than any other language. It actually very individual. The second question which we got it is that how much time it takes to learn completely. See, there is no thing that learning it completely. It's actually a day-to-day. I say that every day you learn something new. But I would say that if you have invested a good amount of time, let's say 3-4 months, I would say 3-4 months, when you have invested completely in R, you'll find it very easy. And most of the things, the basic operations which the organizations are doing, you find it that you can easily do it. But again, it depends. It's very subjective, and to say that it depends on individual person as well, that how much efforts they are putting and how much you are gaining end of the day. So do as many practical scenarios as you can, and try to play with data as much as you can. There are many data sets available. Even after learning in class, I would say that practice it with the real-time data scenarios and issues, and then I would say that that will give you the kind of confidence to go out and work on every business or the issues the organizations are facing. The webinar name for learning R. All right. So Abhishek, this is the next question is I think for you. I think you'll be able to answer this. If we have any specific webinar around R.
Right now it's not planned, but definitely whenever there is a specific webinar on R itself, we'll inform them. But possibly if you search on Google, where can you download R? or learn art, there are a lot of websites which give you some basic idea about art. Okay, so you can kind of get a feel as to what is art and how it can be used. That should be a kind of a good starting point.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, next is for you as well, Abhishek.
Yeah, so the duration for the course would be 8 weeks, and it's going to be on the weekends, and the classes will be conducted either on Saturday or Sunday, and it will take around 8 weeks or so. And batch timings would be almost similar, 10 to 2, or it will be twice a day. That configuration we'll let you know. It will be 2 hours on Saturday or Sunday, or maybe one class on a Sunday for 4 hours.
Anyone has any other questions apart from these? All right. I'm sure that most of you will already aware about the communication channel through that you can reach out the Tech Universe team. You can find that information on this slide also. And I think, Abhishek, is there anything you would like to convey?
Yeah, and people who have already who have participated today, you will get the recording of this webinar link very shortly. In a couple of days' time, we'll upload it and we'll share the links with you also, so you can go through it again.
Right.
So I guess there's no other question. So thanks everyone, and thanks Vinayak.
My pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.